You walk into your garden one morning, and everything looks normal at first. The leaves are green, the stems are standing tall. But then you look a little closer. Tiny dots begin to move along the underside of the leaves. Within just a few days, the plant that looked healthy now seems weak and tired. The leaves curl. The growth slows. It feels like this happened overnight, even though the plant took weeks to grow this far. This is where many gardeners feel confused. How can something so small cause so much damage so quickly? And why does it seem to appear all at once without warning? Now here is something that may sound a little surprising. The solution to this problem may already be sitting in your kitchen, but it may not work in the way you expect. Not as a strong spray, not as a harsh treatment, something much simpler. If this feels confusing, that's very common. You're not doing anything wrong. Before explaining why this happens, it helps to understand what you're actually seeing on your plant. These tiny insects are called aphids. They are very small, often green, sometimes black or yellow. Because of their size, they can go unnoticed at first. They gather in groups, usually on the soft parts of the plant, under the leaves, around new growth, along tender stems. They do not chew the plant like some insects. Instead, they gently pierce the plant and draw out its sap. This weakens the plant slowly. At first, you may not see any change, but as their numbers grow, the plant begins to show signs. Leaves curl inward. New growth looks twisted. The plant may feel sticky to the touch. What makes aphids difficult is how quietly they spread. One day, you may see only a few. A few days later, there are many. They reproduce quickly, especially in calm, warm conditions. This is often the moment when gardeners reach for a spray. It feels like the right thing to do. After all, the problem is visible, so the solution should be direct. But here is something that many people notice over time. Sprays often work for a short while. The insects disappear. The plant looks better. But then, after some time, the aphids return. Sometimes even more than before. This can feel frustrating. You may wonder if you used the wrong product or if you didn't apply enough. In many cases, it is not about doing something wrong. It is about how the problem is being approached. When sprays are used repeatedly, they can disturb more than just the aphids. They can affect the natural balance around the plant. Some helpful insects may stay away. The plant itself may become more sensitive over time. And the aphids, because of their life cycle, often return in cycles. Many experienced gardeners begin to notice this pattern. The problem comes, it is treated, it goes away, and then it comes back again. This can happen over months or even years. At first, it may seem like a never-ending task, but when you step back and observe, a pattern begins to appear. Aphids tend to show up when the plant is in a certain condition, often during new, soft growth. Sometimes when the plant is slightly stressed. This leads to a quieter understanding. Instead of asking how to kill them quickly, it becomes more helpful to ask why they are coming in the first place. Aphids are attracted to tender, soft growth. This is where the plant is most vulnerable, but also where it is most active. New leaves and stems carry a rich flow of sap. For aphids, this is an easy food source. Plants that are growing quickly or that have been given a lot of nutrients at once may attract more of these insects. In some cases, even overwatering or sudden changes in weather can make the plant more inviting. This is where a common misunderstanding can gently be corrected. Many gardeners believe that a clean plant is always a healthy plant. They try to remove every insect, every spot, every sign of imperfection. But in nature, plants and insects exist together. A completely spotless plant is not always the goal. In fact, trying to keep a plant perfectly clean at all times can sometimes lead to more work and more stress for both the gardener and the plant. Instead, it can be helpful to observe balance. A few insects may not harm the plant at all. It is when they grow in large numbers that attention is needed. There was a moment, quiet and simple, where something different was tried. Instead of reaching for a chemical spray, a small mixture was made using something very familiar: garlic. At first, it may not seem like much, just a simple kitchen ingredient. But when it was applied gently to the plant, something interesting happened. The aphids did not react in a dramatic way. There was no instant visible effect, but over a short period, their numbers began to decrease. This felt unexpected. There was no strong smell in the air, no visible damage to the insects right away. Just a gradual change. This is where the real understanding begins. Garlic does not work like a typical pesticide. It does not act as a strong poison. Instead, it changes the environment around the plant in a subtle way. Aphids rely on their senses to find and stay on a plant. Garlic contains natural compounds that can interfere with this process. It makes the plant less inviting, less comfortable for the aphids to stay and feed. Over time, they begin to move away or reduce in number. This is why the effect can feel different. It is not about instant removal. It is about gently shifting the balance, so the plant can recover. Another important detail is timing. Many people focus on how much to use, but often, when you apply something matters more than how strong it is. Applying a gentle solution early, when aphids are just beginning to appear, can make a big difference. At this stage, their numbers are still small. The plant is still strong. A light treatment can guide the situation before it grows larger. Waiting until the plant is heavily covered may require more time for recovery, not because the method does not work, but because the plant needs time to regain its strength. It is also helpful to remember that every garden is a little different. In warmer climates, aphids may appear more frequently and reproduce faster. In cooler areas, their activity may slow down. Humidity, sunlight, and even the type of plant can change how quickly results are seen. Some plants have softer leaves, which aphids prefer. Others are naturally more resistant. This is why one gardener may see results quickly, while another may notice a slower change. Both experiences are normal. There is also a small but important caution to keep in mind. Using too much of any solution, even a natural one, can place stress on the plant. Leaves may become sensitive. In some cases, they may show slight marks or dryness. A gentle approach is often the safest. Light application. Giving the plant time to respond. Watching how it reacts before repeating. After applying a mild garlic solution, the next few days become a period of observation. You may notice fewer aphids gathering in groups. The leaves may begin to look more relaxed. New growth may appear healthier. It is not always immediate, but the change is steady. This is where patience becomes helpful. Plants do not recover instantly, but they respond over time. Each day, small improvements can be seen. To understand if the method is working, it helps to look for simple signs. Are there fewer aphids than before? Are the leaves opening instead of curling? Is new growth appearing stronger? These are quiet signals that the plant is moving in the right direction. If you're comfortable sharing, I'm curious how often you check the underside of your leaves. Many gardeners find that simply observing this area more often helps them notice changes earlier. In the end, this approach brings a gentle shift in how we care for plants. Instead of reacting quickly and often, it becomes more about watching and understanding. The plant is not something that always needs fixing. Sometimes it just needs support. And often that support can be simple. A small change, a quiet observation, a little patience. Sometimes the garden improves when we step back, do a little less, and allow the plant to recover in its own time.